Well, we were actually won the league twice, and every time I would be away at a different place, they never talked about Texas being a part of the Big 12 championship. They kept saying Kansas won all the Big 12s, and we're like, hey, we won 2 of those. I got 2 Big 12 championship rings, and probably should have had about 6 of those, really, to be honest. During my tenure here and stuff, previously and everything. But I think the thing we did during that stretch there was we really just tried to, a lot like we're doing right now, just really approach every game and every 40 minutes in front of us. We never tried to get too high and to get too low. I know we also did a great job, and Coach Reese was here earlier, and I know he always came over and watched our practice, and he talked to Coach and talked about how important it was for you to have a fresh team plan. You couldn't have a tired team, meaning that you couldn't, put your best work in practice and then have a tired team on the floor in games. And I thought we did a great job of that throughout the last portion of my tenure here. I thought Coach Barnes was great with that, really having teams fresh and playing and peaking at the right time of year. And that's what we tried to do with this group here as well. We haven't been practicing really long. We go about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 30 at the most, because we want a team that's going to leave it all out there in games and not play tired from having been in practice for X amount of time and everything. But I think those are the biggest takeaways for us moving forward, competing for a league championship.
Would you practice 2 hours in November?
I mean, first part of the year, you're still trying to establish your identity. You're still trying to work on a lot of fundamental things that you have to try to be really good at, whether it be on offense or defense. So those practices tend to be longer because you're having to cover so much. And as you get into the season, and as you get into conference play, you pull it back a little bit because you want to be fresh in games, and you want guys to be not fatigued mentally or physically.
Coach, you have the 2 freshmen that play a lot, Ontario and Dylan. You play a really long season in high school now in Texas. How have you seen them kind of through this grind of a Big 12? How fresh are they as we head into the final stretch?
Those guys have grown all year long. They've learned to put more extra work in. That's one thing when you come into this level, you have to put more work in before practice, after practice. On days you're off, you have to continue to work and continue to get better. I thought both of those guys at certain points of this season hit the wall just a little bit, and they bounced back, really well in terms of continue to get better and try to be factors for us, as we go down the stretch here in Big 12 play. I thought they've been really good.
Rodney, you obviously have, your core guys who play, at least 25, 30 minutes a game. And you kind of have, Dylan Mitchell, Arterio, Christian, and Brock who kind of, alternate between minutes going hot and cold. I'm curious, what kind of demeanor do you guys need to have when they go into a game and they don't necessarily know how many minutes they're going to play or, what their role is necessarily going to be?
Well, I think it's all a testament to your team. I've really tried to, and I know we've tried to instill in our guys that in the years. It's really important that you're great teammates, and basketball obviously is the ultimate team sport where everybody's going to get an opportunity. Value your role when you come in the game and what we're asking you to do. We asked our guys to give us 2 commitments, down the stretch here, what we can count on every day from you. And, we're not going to ask you to do things, in games that you don't do in practice. But I think our guys have all had a great attitude, great approach about, I'm going to do whatever my roles requires me to do and do it at a high level and try to be a star in your role doing it. So we've had a great team full of great teammates.
Do you think when looking back on that game in Ames, do you think that the physicality that the Cyclones brought kind of surprised your team to start out with, and how do you make sure that doesn't happen again in the rematch?
Well, I don't think it surprises. I think this league is, every night you have to be physical in this league. Every night you have to value taking care of the basketball. They were definitely, more physical than us in that ball game on that particular night. We've had a lot of games where we've been the most physical team as well. But, we take a lot of pride in being, trying to be a team that's going to go out really hard just as much as they do and try to play as physical just as much as they do as well. And, they're doing a great job of turning guys over. We're going to have to do a great job of protecting the ball and being strong with the ball.
Where are they struggling? I know they've got a little losing string
It's
going.
the Big 12. I mean, you know what I mean? When you say struggling, what's really struggling in the Big 12? I mean, we have on any given night, anybody can beat anybody, whether you're at home or on the road. So, I don't really see a struggling team. TJ's done a great job with this group all year long. They're an older team that plays pretty confident, for a better part of this year. So, struggling in this league is not struggling. Kansas is at the top of the league. They lost 3 in a row. So there's really no struggling in this league. I don't think it's 3 or 4. I don't know, but Baylor definitely lost 3, and look at where they are right now. So it's just again, this league from top to bottom, man. You have to be ready to play every night.
Asked Bill Self about that a couple weeks ago, and he said, "I don't know if we're going to be battle tested for the NCAAs or worn out."
I think we beating each other up so much throughout conference play, and every game's a game, and it comes down to possession games where you have to value taking care of the ball and taking care of your bodies with recovery and all that, when the game's over. But I do think it is going to serve well for a lot of our teams in postseason play, because we've been in those type of games and we've had to play March basketball, since the end of January.
And with you playing 9 guys, that's probably a benefit as well, right?
Well, it definitely helps, no doubt about it. I mean, and the deeper you can be and be able to, have 9 to 10 guys in your rotation, that always helps, as you get into postseason play.
We were talking to Coach Moser after Saturday's game. He mentioned just, he could sort of sense that your energy had infected this team. I'm curious, is there a guy maybe on this team that you sort of see a little bit of yourself in, who sort of leads with his energy, either in practice or games or huddles or whatever it might be?
Well, I'll tell you what, Jabarius Rice, I keep saying that and coming back to him, over the last month, he really has changed his practice habits in terms of how hard he's going and the leaderships that he's showing in practice. Earlier in the year, we couldn't say that, but he definitely has been a guy that's made a difference and has carried over into his playing games.
Yeah, I know he mentioned, but when he first got here, he was maybe a little bit hesitant to speak up and maybe kind of be that guy that he was in New Mexico State. Have you seen him develop more of that? He seems like he's a talker for sure, but does he seem more comfortable now in that leadership role?
Well, I think, again, coaches can't anoint players as leaders of a team. I think guys are only going to follow guys that work extremely hard and they do their job, and he's done that over the last month or so. And as the season goes and you're able to do that, then guys are more likely to follow, because you're doing all the little things and you're doing all the extra work and so guys will follow guys like that. Now his voice really, resonates with the guys.
Y'all had some problems in first halves, slower starts. You feel like you got a, finger on that and getting better?
I thought that was the first part of conference play. I mean, we're in what's our record right now? We're 10-4, 14 games. I mean, we probably could say that the first 4 games of conference play, but I think we've done a pretty good job in valuing taking care of the basketball. A lot of that's predicated on taking care of the ball. If you take care of the basketball early in games, then you won't get off to a bad start. You'll continue to work the game and do what you have to do. And I think we've gotten better with that over the course of conference play.
So you and some other assistants went to Duncanville for Ron's last game. Can just kind of speak on the career that he had there, and then also with both him and AJ, everything's still the same as with their status?
Yeah, I'll start with Ron Holland. Ron Holland has had probably one of the more decorated high school careers of any kid that's played basketball in the state of Texas. You talk about a guy who's won state championship every year he's played. You don't count the COVID year. They probably would have won it that year. And this year, obviously, they would have won it again and won a national championship in high school. Talk about a guy who's played on USA Basketball and won 2 medals in USA Basketball. I mean, he's done everything you could do at the high school level and then some. He's a guy that's going to be a McDonald All-American this year. He's a top 10 player in the country. He's a guy that just got nominated for the Nike Hoop Summit game as well. So I mean, what else can you do? You're not going to have a more decorated guy from a high school standpoint coming into college. And at the end of the day, Ron Holland's a winner. He's a winner. He's coming from a winning program, and he's done that his whole life. So, we're excited about what he brings to the table in that regards. And I think the sky's the limit on how good a player he's going to be moving forward. AJ is a guy who kind of a late bloomer, but really took off this spring and summer. Had an incredible spring incredible summer on the circuit. You talk about a kid that has a high ceiling as well. You talk about a 6'6" point guard, that can distribute the basketball, shoot the basketball, super athletic. Again, another top 25 player in the country. It's going to be a terrific college player, and again, the sky's the limit on both of those young players in terms of how good they're going to be in their careers. But they're still excited about the opportunity to come to play at Texas, and again, we're excited about having those guys be a part of our family, and look forward to them being guys that come in and contribute early in their careers in our program.
Do they talk about being a one-and-done guy? Did that come up during recruiting?
I mean, every kid nowadays, I don't care where he's slated to go, probably is thinking he's going to have a chance to be one and done.
Yeah.
A lot of that's decided on how guys come in and how hard they work and what their work ethic is like when they come in. No program is going to put a guy in the NBA. He's got to come in and put himself in the NBA.
There's been some talk about going to a 24-second clock. Is that something you'd favor, and how would that change the game?
I mean, we work at an up-tempo pace already ourselves. So, I mean, a lot of times in the summer we play pickup games with 24-second shot clocks because you want to play at a faster pace. I think for us it wouldn't really affect us in terms of how we play and the way we want to play in the future with Texas basketball.
Do you think it would change the game nationally at all?
For some teams, I mean, there are some teams that want to play at a slower pace and want to work the shot clock all the way down to the end of the shot clock. It forced them to have to play faster for sure. But I don't see it affecting us in the way we want to play moving forward.
I think we touched on this Saturday, but with an experienced team and guys who've been in the tournament, do you tell them about their status kind of on that 2 line as far as what the committee released, or is that something that you just ignore at this point and just try to play through to wait till it actually, is officially determined?
I think, Joe, what we try to do is just handle the 40 minutes in front of us. I think if you're able to do that, okay, without looking, too far in the big picture, I always tell the guys that all takes care of itself. You win this league, have a chance to be right there to win the league. You're gonna get an incredible seed for the NCAA tournament, and I think that our guys have been well aware of that. As we started conference play, as we've gone through conference play, they know every game's an NCAA tournament game, and it's going to give you an opportunity to try to build your resume.
Don't you think the Big 12 champion deserves a 1 seed, considering how good this league is?
No, absolutely. I mean, no question about it. I mean, you look at the teams. I mean, I think we have 6 ranked teams in our league right now, and you could probably make a case for, the teams that are not ranked in our league, really good teams. You know what I mean? Texas Tech's playing really well right now. They're a good team, and they got great personnel. Oklahoma's a good team. They're well coached. I mean, there are no nights off in our league, and there are a lot of leagues that can't say that. We can say that, and got great coaches. So, I think our league's very deserving of a 1 seed. You come out of our league every night, you've had to come. You're battle tested every night.
Do you think Tyrese may press before the trip to Ames, and how do you make sure, considering the kind of lull that he's in right now, and with Iowa State coming to town, that he doesn't do anything that may make him regress maybe any further?
I think he did an incredible job up there at their place. I mean, there wasn't a time that I thought that he was fazed with their crowd, carrying on the way that they were carrying on with the nonsense. He just kept playing. He was stone-faced the entire time, just like our team was stone-faced the entire time. Didn't let them faze him one bit. He just kept playing and kept working the game. And right now, I would beckon to say that his approach is the next 40 minutes in front of us, and we're obviously playing to win and trying to compete at a high level against a team that we have a lot of respect for.
Was there one best thing that you were happiest about Saturday?
You know what I thought? Again, we worked the game, and we talk all the time about playing for 40 minutes, and I thought our guys did that on Saturday against a team that we knew coming in that come off a really good win and beat the number one team in the country by 30 on their home court. So it just shows you again the strength of our league in terms of competition. But I was just proud of the way we didn't have maybe our best game of the year from start to finish, but we found a way to win. And that's what you have to do this time of year. You have to find a way to win and make your way in terms of playing for 40 minutes.
Three last ones for Coach.
Rodney, you guys are still in a good position, obviously not to only win the Big 12, but to get a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Do you use that, as we start getting closer to the tournament, do you start to use the whole seeding talk with your team as, as any kind of motivation to them to say, hey, we can really do ourselves some favors?
Oh, I think
We can do what we're doing.
I think, Cliff, again, I think the thing that we try to do is just control what we can control. I mean, we can't really control what other people think of our team. We've heard noises and what people say about our team and lack of respect at times in terms of what we've been able to do to this point. But at the end of the day, you have to go play the games, and you got to do what you do at a very high level and live where your feet are.
Anything else? Thanks all. Appreciate your time.
Last thing I like to say is just say I like to wish our swimming and diving team, our track and field team, good luck this weekend in Big 12 championships. I know they've worked hard to prepare for this opportunity, so wishing them the best, and hopefully they go out and come back with a Big 12 championship.